Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Inspiring Minds. Let me welcome Supratik Bose. Supratik hails from Kolkata and did his graduation from St. Xavier's College. He secured All India rank 8 in his intermediate exams and All India rank 18 in his CA finals. He did his articleship from PwC in their audit division. Post CA, he worked with Marico as a management trainee, and currently he is working with a startup named Zetwork. Supratik, welcome to the channel and heartiest congratulations to you for all your achievements.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks for having me here.
So, Supratik, let's begin with your management trainee program at Marico. So, can you tell us briefly about the management trainee program?
So the management training program at Marico is obviously it's a collective program. You join as a MT in finance along with all the other management trainees across sales, marketing, supply chain, right? And it's a collective program, right? Which basically has 3 to 4 stints, right? Predominantly, the first stint always is a sales stint to actually understand what Marico does on ground. And then it's a fairly specialized stint for the kind of function you are in, right? Like finance will have stints across business finance, commercial finance, internal audit, and things like that. Supply chain could have something in warehousing. Sales has a branding stint and a marketing stint. So each stint is roughly around 3 to 4 months, right? And you get rotated, and there are evaluations and presentations at the end of each stint. And basically, you have to display that you're learning more incrementally, more and more about the function, more and more about the company, and also kind of building connects with people in the company, right? As in people who across functions, right? And also the reason Marico asks all of us to join together, right, is so that there is a bond of continuity amongst all of us. Because as we progress in the organization, the people who join with us become our peers in other functions, right? So that's fairly a brief background about how it is. I think you would also have a similar structure at Reckitt, right? 3 to 4 stints and across different locations. So it was fairly, I think the structure is fairly standard across companies.
Right. And how was your experience at Marico? And what all things did you do there?
I think it was great. I mean, I I still remember my first stint. I think it was completely out of my comfort zone. I was doing sales in North Delhi, right, rural North Delhi, and going shop to shop, selling parachute and things like that.
And that
It's
was in
something
summer,
which I
right?
never. It was in high summer, like 45-degree heat. I mean, it's not something that I'd ever imagined myself doing, but I'm glad I did it because you rarely get a chance to come out of your comfort zone like that, right? And post that, I had a stint in corporate finance, right, where I was basically preparing the board decks and the investor notes for basically the entire company, which is formally called a corporate MIS role, right, where every quarter, every month, you're responsible for the deck, right, and understanding where the deviations are. So that role is very good for a management training because it allows you to speak to n number of stakeholders in the company. There is no one who is not approachable in that sense. Then I had a fairly rigorous stint in business finance, which was basically evaluating brands, like the new brands of Marico, right? Delving deep into the financials, understanding what can be done better. It actually got me working very closely with our sales team, especially the new engines team, which is the e-com and modern trade team, right? And the last stint was one that honestly I enjoyed the most, right? It was a stint where I had to work with teams out of Vietnam and Bangladesh, right? I mean, and also it was basically a fairly tech heavy stint where I had to create a product which allowed us to track supply chain efficiencies. So I had an analytics team working with me. I mean, the amount of SQL and stuff that they taught me was amazing. I mean, very collaborative, very participative. Plus, it was a very cross-functional stint. I mean, I had teams that I was responsible to, and they were responsible to me based out of Vietnam and Bangladesh. I think they also came over. I also went there. It was fairly interesting.
Right. So post this, Supratik, you joined a startup. So what was the thought process like when you transitioned from a large corporate to a startup environment?
Good question. Was okay, I wouldn't say it wasn't very well thought of, but it kind of started as an itch, right? Because as you complete your MT program, right, you get a specific role that you're supposed to, day-to-day work on and stuff. But there's always been this thing within me that I want to set up something, build something of my own, right? And it's not like, starting a startup day one that you pass out. It's feasibility is low in that sense. I wouldn't say it's not possible, but yeah, startups are places where you can create a legacy or basically build things of your own, right? And that was the opportunity, rather, I would say, to kind of push myself and see that, okay, can I build something? Can I hack out something? Can I grow with the organization as it grows at a super fast speed, right? So that was the reason for pivoting, right? It was more of a desire to build rather than just do, I would say.
Right. And what does your work involve?
So for those who don't know, I mean, Zetwork basically is into custom manufacturing, right? For example, today a lot of manufacturing is outsourced, right? There's more of third party, fourth party manufacturing. Basically, Zetwork provides a tech platform to people, as in big companies, to actually view those outsourced manufacturing practices on an integrated platform, right? Uh, Having said that, we're just not a tech platform. We do the execution ourselves, right? We have like 1,500 suppliers across India and across the world also. And we basically take orders from, let's say, L&T, Tata, and kind of execute these projects at small suppliers. So as part of, obviously, I am part of category finance here. We have 13 separate business units. I look after the more FMCG focused ones, apparel, consumer peripherals, and things like that. So what I do is basically, again, I would say I'm the finance head of that category. Anything with regards to money stops with me, right? The buck stops with me in terms of, let's say, funding, in terms of, let's say, collections. It's basically I'm in charge of the finances of that entire group. In addition to that, there are certain special projects and new initiatives that I handle, right? Which is, let's say, there are certain M&As that happen, which I am in charge of. Certain, let's say, foreign incorporations, foreign subsidiary setups. So it's kind of a mix. I would say the role is not very defined. It depends on how deep you want to get into it, right? It's a mix of controlling, it's a mix of business finance, it's a mix of strategy. It's fairly open, I would say.
So, Supratik, the last time we had a conversation, you were telling me that you also do some capital raising activities. I mean, it's very rare to see a CA doing a capital raising activity. So, what is it all about?
I kind of lucked out on this, honestly, because again, it was a function of bias or action, right? So some of the businesses that I handle have very long pay terms from their customers, and also we wanted to acquire a factory, which, being a Series B company, we really didn't have that quantum of funds, right? So I kind of took it up as a personal challenge that no, we want to get this thing done. So I spoke to a lot of venture debt investors, right? Uh, and by brought connects through being a Xavier's alum. It helps you get connects across industries, across fund houses. So speaking to them, negotiating with them, getting the term sheet signed, ensuring interest rates, warrant requirements are favorable for Zetwork, right? And actually getting that process done to execution, from start to finish, that was very interesting. And it allows you to talk to n number of people, right? I mean, the number of people you meet when you do fundraising activities is immense. And the best thing about it was it actually gave me confidence in Zetwork's product, or rather what Zetwork is trying to do. I mean, when I saw the interest from investors, be it foreign, be it Indian, I think it was a massive reinforcement that, yeah, this was actually a good decision for me to actually leave a corporate and build something from scratch.
Right. So, Supratik, what would you advise to aspirants who would actually want to enter into a startup spectrum, and how can they acquire the relevant skill sets that are needed to, proceed your career in a startup environment?
I think it's a function of skill set plus the kind of person you are, right? I mean, when you're entering into a startup, you have to be comfortable with uncertainty and ambiguity, right? For me, the model itself is so new in the market, right? I mean, there are daily challenges, and you need to love creative problem solving. I mean, there is a limitation in process. There is no guidance. I mean, my CEO of the startup I'm at, right? They tell me, you figure it out. I mean, this is a problem, and it's an immense responsibility in itself. So I think one skill set or one trait that's required is to rather be fearless, right? I mean, there will be challenges. There'll be days when you really don't know what to do. And always, I think from first principles and fundamental, right? I mean, there are things I would have studied in SFM, which is probably negligible or not really complex, but those are the things that I still apply today, right? When I do fundraising or when we negotiate with customers, right? So I would say two important traits or attributes. One is be fearless, and second is bias for action. I mean, when you're in a startup, you're probably doing three or four people's work together at the same time. And third is focus on your fundamentals. You don't really need to be exceptionally bright. You don't need, there's no genius involved in a startup, right? It's basically creative problem solving. And that can only happen when your basics and fundamentals are sound.
So to sum it up, there are 3 to 4 skill sets that you need to, if you want to perform well in a startup. First of all, you need to love creative problems. Second, you need to be very quick at thinking at your own feet. And third, you need to also have good
Right.
connects around so you can speak to people, learn from their experiences, apply it on your own in the startup, right? So, and again, it's a
Absolutely.
very steep learning curve in a startup. So there's a very famous saying that goes around in the startup world that 1 year in a startup is equivalent to 3 years in a corporate. So the amount of
Yeah, I
learning that you
mean,
get in 1 year, it's just
yeah.
it's insane, right?
Yeah, I
So
mean,
see,
my hair's turned gray. I mean, the amount of time that the 1 year feels like, it doesn't even feel like 1 year.
so Supratik, if someone wants to, given if someone is called for an interview in a startup, so how would you advise that candidate to prepare for the interview?
So startup interviews are fairly different from corporates, right? Uh, I mean, there is a bit of technical. I would say 30% is technical. So you should rather be very sure about what you're writing on your CV. In addition to that, you have to display mental agility. So there'll be cases, there'll be multiple rounds, right? And most of it is case based. And the cases are not something pulled out of something like Harvard Business Review or something, right? It's a case which is basically the a problem that the business is facing currently, right? So if I would apply to a startup again, right, I would rather focus more on case based learning and kind of uh, you know trying to understand how does my skill set, the one that I currently possess, add value to the startup, right? I might be very good at, let's say, legal compliance, right? Could make a huge sense for a fintech company, right? I might be very good on cash flow modeling, might very make a lot of sense for a lending institution, right? So you really need to be clear about the place where you're applying to and what skill set can you add to the company, because the learning curve is so steep that, I mean, unless there is some commonality on what you can do and what the startup does, things don't really make much sense in the long term.
Right.
And
So
obviously, one point I did miss out, they'll always check for bias for action, right? Because in a startup, you're wearing multiple hats. Someday you're doing sales, someday you're doing finance. You need to exhibit that.
right. So Supratik, lastly, any words of advice for the aspirants?
I think those who've just qualified, I think the world is your oyster, right? I mean, when both of us were going for these interviews and all, I think the most important thing is to enjoy that process, no matter what the outcome is, the kind of people you meet and the friends or the connections that you make throughout the process. I guess it's just enjoy the process. Obviously, there is pressure, right? I mean, you've got a good result now. You want to get into a good place and things like that. but it shouldn't happen that you don't miss out on the fun of it, right? I mean, be objective, know your skill sets lie, where your skill sets lie, and you'll get into a good place. But for that sense, don't miss out on all the fun. I mean, that period will never come back in your life, right? It didn't come back for me. I'm pretty sure things have become very hectic for everyone now who was in our batch, right? So that period, learn to enjoy in that kind of stress.
I think that's a very mindful thought. This will really give the aspirant some insights into the startup world, and I hope more and more CAs enter this unconventional roles in the startup world. So thank you so much, Supratik, for sharing your valuable experiences with us. If you guys have any queries, comment down below. Either me or Supratik will be happy to answer you. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you next time. Cheers.
Thanks, Jay. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.